The following content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. It does not constitute means for diagnosis, healthcare advice, nor treatment. Make use of a qualified healthcare professional for such purposes.
Let's talk about what an abstract is. An abstract, in a very basic sense, is going to provide you with a summary of said manuscript. It's going to provide you with a summary of your manuscript. And you're thinking, well, articles are not that long necessarily, right? Usually articles can hover anywhere between 5 and 15 pages, so they're usually not as extensive. You're thinking, why do I need a summary? You need a summary because generally you will need dozens, if not hundreds, of different articles in order for you to publish yourself, right? So before you waste your time reading 15 pages, you will have a summary of that manuscript. It allows you the opportunity to say, will I download this article or will I just discard it and move along and find a different research? Notice that there's many pieces of information that you're going to find within that short paragraph. The first thing is that it's going to provide you information regarding the specific topic, right? Because sometimes the title can be, a good title will tell you what the topic is, the participants, and the method with the results. That would be a good title. However, whenever you are looking at the abstract, you will gain more of understanding, well, I want to look into depression and white straight males in general, right? And then when you read the abstract, you're thinking, I don't think this is necessarily fitting to what I want to research about. So you discard it. It will tell you the method. What do they do with the white straight males and gender roles, right? For example, if they were struggling with abiding to gender roles, say, for example, in the South, where we are, right? How difficult is it for an individual, for a male, say, for example, to abide to gender roles here in the South? It's going to tell you the method. What did they do in the research? Did they conduct a survey? Did they conduct an interview? Did they conduct an experiment or a quasi-experiment? It's also going to tell you about what exactly the method was. It's also going to tell you about the results of the study. It's going to let you know what was it that we found out, I should say, within that research study. And lastly, it's going to give you an interpretation of that particular study. You're thinking, what's the difference, right? Results and interpretation, right? Most people, even people who have studied for a long time, do confuse the two. The results section versus the discussion on interpretation. The results, think about the weatherman. The weatherman simply tells you it's going to snow tomorrow. It's going to rain tomorrow. We're going to have poor visibility. The interpretation is what you do at home. I need to bring an umbrella. I need to leave early so I don't get stuck in traffic, right? Maybe I shouldn't go to work because the roads are going to be slick. That is the interpretation. The results section is the weather. It just simply states the facts. What was it that we found on our research? And then the interpretation is, what can we understand? What can we do? What can be extrapolated based on those results? So you'll find a very short summary of your research in your abstract. Something interesting about the abstract is that you will always find the abstract first. It is the first thing you're going to see whenever you download a scientific article. However, it is written last. And when you conduct your own research, you will see that even though it is the first thing you're going to see in your research, it's going to be last. Why is that? Because it's a summary, right? You have to wait once you're done with your research, to provide a summary of your research. So you will always write that last. Here is an example of what an abstract should look like. Notice that, like I mentioned earlier, is going to tell me about the variables of the study. What is the topic? Notice that here, we're looking at test anxiety. It's also telling me about working memory. So I already know what the study is about. It's about working memory regarding an intensive math exam and test anxiety. Notice that I also know about the method. What did they do? Who were they talking about? They were talking about college students. They're talking about a measurement, or I know it's a statistical procedure. Notice that now it's telling me exactly step by step, what is it that they did in this research? They were provided with implementation intentions that were designed to help them ignore distractions. So now I know, what did they do? How did they analyze this measure? Well, they conducted a regression analysis. Notice that in regards to their findings, after they conducted a regression analysis, they noticed that test anxiety increased. Then after the anxiety increased, the effectiveness of temptation inhibiting implementation intentions increased. And it also tells me about the facilitating implementation intentions. Once they increased, they harmed the performance of their test as test anxiety increased. Notice that now it's going to provide me an interpretation of that finding, which is implications for effective self-regulations by test-anxious students are discussed. So notice that within just a few sentences, I know exactly what the study is about, what their variables are, who the participants were, what methods did they use to study the participants, what did they find out, and then what was the interpretation. In just a few sentences, without having to go all the way and read that particular research.